humans have created all these constructs of work and stuff, and other animals, they don't, they eat and they play a lot. And you see other animals when they're younger, they just play around. And then a great visionary, if something isn't being done correctly or to their standards or their liking, they'll just break every rule they can to create their own world. So if the world doesn't work for them, they'll just create their own world. The formula for creating a successful global company, I guess I used to say company, but we'll just say successful life at this point, or successful journey. We'll just say successful journey. So it's you see a problem, create solution, problem solve, successful journey.
In today's world online, customers and everybody expect personalized support on every channel and in every way. They want it like done right now. But the problem is most solutions out there don't allow that to happen. They're not delivering. So your customer service reps are struggling to stay productive. And your customers, honestly, just aren't as happy as they probably once were. Now's the time to change that. This is exactly why there's a new AI-powered service hub from HubSpot. The service hub actually allows you to bring this type of level of service and success together for the first time so you can deliver on the expectations that people are expecting. And actually, it's boosting revenue along the way. The reps that are using Service Hub from HubSpot right now are reporting 13 times faster to help them resolve tickets, and also it helps them close something like 42% more tickets per day. So that basically means that you're also retaining people at a much higher rate. And they're saying more than 80%. Not only that, you're getting this full 360 view of your customers in this smart CRM that basically helps and supports you in the marketing, sales, and service delivery and success of your team, but also making the experience much better for your customer, which boosts your revenue and your business growth. Go and visit HubSpot.com/service to learn how this all new solution can help you deliver for your customers. What's happening, y'all? This episode is all about the visionaries in the world. That might be you. That might be someone in your company, your partner over there, maybe your spouse. There's a lot of visionaries in the world, yet they're not really in the wild, off the street. You're not going to find a bunch. A lot of them are entrepreneurs. They're the people who are building things, solving problems, breaking the rules, creating new rules. They're probably not creating rules. They're just creating new ways of being and doing things. And that's exactly why I brought Justin Breen onto this episode. He's the founder. He's the CEO of Brepic Network. That's BREPIC Network. He's also written some books. One is called Epic Life. He has another one coming out. And this guy is an incredible being, soul. He's figured out how to spot patterns, and he hasn't figured out. He's literally living his best, the way that his being is set up to be. His superpowers are to work with visionaries, is to help navigate this world and support visionaries into doing more of what they're great at, which is that it's solving problems. It's doing things that most people in the world do not do. And most of us are one of those. We could probably relate. So what Justin is doing in this episode is breaking that down, identifying patterns and communicating that with you, showing you mental models, a lot of visuals. So make sure to hop over to YouTube. Go check out the visuals for this one. Please like and share this around. Subscribe if you haven't already. And this will help a fellow visionary in your life. And again, us visionaries, we need support. We need stabilizers. So definitely share this with other folks who are not visionaries so you can kind of understand what craziness we deal with in our minds and our bodies every single day, because we can all work together. And Justin's the best in the world at breaking this down. So let's just get into it right now. Talk about the simplifying souls, that concept. This word of simplifying, every time I chat with you, it feels like that is the through line in terms of, business, what you do here with people, visionaries, but also you mentioned your family a lot, lifestyle. Tell me a little bit about your thought pattern there.
Thank you for that question. Most of my days talking to folks who have ADD, diagnosed or undiagnosed, so they just ramble, and then I just listen and simplify it into a pattern. ADD is not a disorder. It's a sign of genius mislabeled by humans. And I'm convinced at this point that neurodivergence is actually an evolution of souls, because you don't have time or BS for nonsense that most people are living in. So the ADD or the autism or the dyslexia or the super high IQ, EQ is like an internal mechanism within the body, mind, heart, and soul to think and feel differently. I mean, I've been this person for a very long time. I'm convinced of that at this point. I guess to ground it for a minute, when I was born, my father was 61 and my mom was 27. And my dad was a World War II hero, shot down multiple times in World War II,
Wow.
many times without a parachute, and he would just get back into a plane.
Wow. Wow.
Right. So that's the typical reaction. To me, that's I don't want to say average, but that's if someone's not like that, I don't understand it. It's confusing. And then a drunk driver hit my dad in his late 50s. He broke every bone in his body. The drunk driver was killed instantly, and then my dad woke up and thought he was dead. And my mom was an angel, but it was my mom. So she was 27 when I was born. She's still alive.
Uh-huh.
And she has more hustle than anyone I've ever met.
Wow.
One of the best connectors I've ever met. Will never stop working.
What does she do?
And
Like,
she's in real estate. She lives in a very large house. She takes care of the rest of my family, not my children, my wife, but brother and sister and all their
sure.
family. Just a pure hustle in the best way. Um, and I the word business comes from the Old English word bizignus, which means anxiety. So I don't say it or even think about it unless someone says it. People say words and they don't know where they come from or what they mean. So 10x your business, 10x your anxiety, business coach, anxiety coach, business degree, anxiety degree. Like it's just it's I don't know. I've just always had this intuition that there was something wrong with that word. The word sale comes from the Italian word sale, which means dull and dirty. So I don't like to sell anything. I just like to talk to people and ask who they are, who they love, and what their purpose is, and then you can kind of see it. Um, they
Yeah.
take off their mask very quickly and are very aware of the mask they've been wearing and then who they truly are. And I guess that allows them to feel comfortable talking to me about that.
Hmm. Yeah. Patterns. I mean, you spot patterns, it seems like really quick. And that
Yeah.
actually came up. Uh, I want to dig into that, but I want to also go back to busyness, the word, business, the
Right.
word. But yeah, in our first chat, that was something that stood out to me immediately. That word over the last handful of months, I was like, busyness. Why are we in busyness? Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
shitty.
It's ridiculous. It's one of my friends is Dr. Carlos Warder. If you've read The Alchemist,
Mm,
or for
yep.
those who have read The Alchemist, his story is that's like a real life alchemist story. He's one of Deepak Chopra's friends, and that level.
Right.
And we were talking about, and he was mentioning that humans are the only animal that um, like does stuff. Like other animals are just being what they're supposed to be, and then humans just create this false construct of work and glorify how great they are. And one of my other friends, Lee Benson, he talks about virtue signaling.
Mm,
I mean, it's all silly, and then that kind of thing is trumpeted and highlighted and not appreciated, but saluted. And um, really, all I care about is raising level of consciousness to the highest level possible in this lifetime, and then that'll help people. But really, I just like to talk to cool people and connect them to other cool people, and I never think about business stuff.
mm-hmm.
That's for others to think about.
I like it. I like it. And so the patterns question will probably come up in a sec here, but so visionaries, you harness or at least you focus on connecting with visionaries, and it seems to elevate them, but also as a collective elevate the world.
I've been reading The Map of Consciousness Explained, which is by Dr. David Hawkins, the late Dr. David Hawkins, the great Dr. David Hawkins. He died a while ago, but he spent his whole life working on a scale of consciousness map that has numbers and stuff. Like 1,000 is the highest. And then in this book is he talks about the healing power of a loving group, and the energy field of these groups is unconditional love, and we get higher with every act of love, every loving intention, and our willingness to forgive self and others. And um, I'd never really been in a room like that because most of the folks are focused on business stuff, which is fine. I just don't care about that, or never have. Um, so my partner and I, Mark Fujiwara, he's in San Francisco. I'm in Chicago. And then my wife, Sarah, Dr. Sarah, she's a pediatrician. She's our COO. So we wanted to create a room where it was just visionaries that wanted to raise their level of consciousness and love and unconditionally for others. I used to think that kind of stuff was, not silly, but it was, it was just like not reality, but that's really the only reality I want to live in. So if the room didn't exist, you have to create the room. So
Yep.
I don't believe in excuses. You just do it. So
Right.
we did
So,
it.
so visionaries, let's get into them. Like why visionaries?
I just turned 47. I've spent most of my life talking like this and probably spent 42, 43 years talking like this, and no one understood what I was talking about. But you don't stop, you just get back into a plane
Hmm.
after another one's been shot down and you weren't wearing a parachute. So you just keep doing it, and then found that only people who understood are visionaries. And there's this Journey of Souls book, and it groups folks into clusters, basically soul clusters. And the first group, or the top level, is intense soul interaction within primary clusters. So like those are the only people uh I can serve, and they're the only ones that understand and that really want to be served. So had to create that room. And it was very interesting because the other two groups that aren't the primary clusters, I'll describe it real quickly. It's infrequent soul interaction within primary clusters within a secondary group. And then the third one is the most interesting. Almost no soul interaction between secondary groups with less advanced souls. So
Mm.
there's no right or wrong answer with this. That's what it is. It's just the soul connectivity of empathy and understanding, and just for context, on Strength Finders, Gallup Clifton Strength Finders, I'm dead last in empathy, dead last, and second to last in includer. But for visionaries, like highest primary cluster soul, I have endless empathy,
Mm.
endless
Mm.
empathy, endless inclusion. So that's really what the room is: endless empathy, where we
Endless
just
empathy.
understand each other, and then we just build things together with no competition, none.
Yeah. That's it's interesting because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the patterns that you spot are almost these innate things in those visionaries, the people in the room that you're bringing together. So you don't have to
Yeah.
over explain these nuances that to
Why would
others
you?
don't no need to.
It's pointless. It doesn't, it's already understood. Um, but if it's someone who doesn't understand, you could say it 3,000 times and you'll just get stared at. So that was the first 42, 43 years of life for the most part. And then every now and then you'd find one, or they'd find me. I found now that they more find me or the people within the group, which is really interesting. Um, really interesting. The My 9-year-old Chase, um, he draws things like I do. So he drew yesterday a staircase. It's a 3-level staircase. So the first level is before you were born challenges, and then it leads to a hallway, which is like in between lives. It's the biggest challenge. I'm reading this, that's why I'm looking over here. But the biggest challenge is going into your next life, and then the second staircase is like your current life, when you're born challenges. And then after you die, then there's a hallway. The biggest challenge is going into your next life, and then the next staircase is after your born challenges in the next life. So like
Yeah.
within this middle staircase, the biggest challenge was finding people who understood this. And now that's now that's been done, and then now it's just destiny and completely trusting pure gut intuition and feeling and heart.
Mm.
And the high IQ, lower EQ folks, which is fine, but they think that mindset is first. It's actually, to me, it's wrong. It's actually the heart and gut are first. It's actually the EQ first. You have to have both to be a true visionary. You have to have high EQ and IQ. You have to have both.
Yeah. Bingo.
Yeah.
And that you actually went exactly where I wanted to take it is this whole thing of being heady, living in our brains, trying to map everything out, being logical about it all,
Right.
and this disconnection between heart
Correct.
and what that is. So
Yeah.
map out what that looks like. How would you define that whole
Oh,
thing going on? And
okay. Yeah.
yeah.
So this is the result of being on similar levels of consciousness. So most people think it's the mindset first, your brain. It's not right. You start with the heart. So this visionary communication system, whatever you want to call it. So heart, feel it. I'm all feeling at this point.
Mm.
All feeling first. I don't, and then I think about it and talk about it, and then you do something. But it all starts with the
So walk me through this then. And this is interesting because I think obviously most people, or at least maybe the general think is to think first and then feel. And
right.
but yeah, let's walk through these as almost like filters I could see before
Oh,
action. Yeah.
great. Tremendous. Well, and to be fair, for 45 and a half, maybe 46 years, I used to say right mindset attracts right network, creates right opportunities. So
Mm.
I was wrong for 46 years. Now it's grateful heart creates abundant mindset, creates exponential network, creates limitless opportunity. So grateful heart, gratitude first, grateful heart.
Gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's with the heart. Not necessarily the mind. And then the heart, I'm an 8 fact finder in Colby. That's really high. So once I'm interested in something, I'm rarely interested in anything, but if I am interested in something like connecting visionaries to serve humanity, then I'll be endlessly interested in that.
Hmm.
Um, and then the heart has like all these little brains within it. The heart is actually far more powerful than the brain in terms of electromagnetic field. Um, and it starts, that's where it starts. So like if it doesn't feel right, um, one, I'll look into it, like the word business or the word sale. The word average comes from the word avery, which means damage to a ship.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So um so to look into it, trust the intuition, and then
Yeah.
if I feel something is right to do it, I just do it. There's almost no thinking anymore because I know the heart. The heart has been proven to be right at this point. When I spent most of my life thinking there were all these things wrong with things, and then why are people so miserable? Because they're focused on all these things that they think makes them happy, but it doesn't. So I'm like, well, there's got to be something wrong. Then you just find
Something's
out
wrong.
it is wrong, and so then you stop doing it.
Right. And what's the downfall of that? It's like, if you're feeling it, it really can't
Oh,
steer you wrong.
well, okay. Hold on one second.
Maybe it can.
Let me see
Correct me.
if I can find that one. They've got these. Okay, here. All right. So you're so the way I talk, the reason why my wife became COO is because she's like, no one understands what you're saying, which I knew that because that was most of my life. So you said inner voice or whatever. And so here, can you see this?
I can. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So people, they have this inner voice, EQ, the feeling, then they block it. They're blocking their own thought to action, and then so it turns into this, turns into
Mm.
all this waste. So
Anxiety,
I'm
depression,
right.
scarcity.
That's
Yep.
what it turns into. And so if you don't block that, it goes and it creates destiny, and you have zero waste. So I just go right up,
I got
right.
you. So, yeah, articulate in this audio form just for folks listening, not
Oh,
watching.
sorry,
You're good.
sorry.
I'll do that. You're good. I mean, the visuals are beautiful, so I recommend folks go find the YouTube video.
Oh, thanks.
But yeah, but essentially, yeah, you're putting a block, and this is what we do, I guess, when we're not conscious about
Correct.
leading with our heart, with feeling,
Yeah,
intuition. I
yeah.
guess that would be your gut too, right? It's like heart and gut. It's kind of that whole
Absolute
mix up.
heart and gut, the
Gotcha.
innards, the
Yep.
inner voice, literally inside, and
Inner. Yeah. And then that gets like we all self-sabotage whatever that flow, that innate flow is within us because
yeah,
of whatever reason. I'm sure it's things like conditioning, societal expectations, all the,
Education,
yeah.
the media trumpeting people that have a lot of money and a lot of companies and a lot of power,
Mm,
um, and negative news and politics. I mean, that's what it. I was a journalist for 20 years, or an
right.
entrepreneur who happened to be a journalist. So I never understood negative news, or if it bleeds, it lead, or political stuff. I don't understand that stuff. And then visionaries are usually aliens within their own family, community, and verticals. The only people who understand us are visionaries. We're just completely misunderstood by most of society. My favorite quote now is from Ralph Waldo Emerson, to be great is to be misunderstood.
Mm,
Um, so it's
yeah.
good to be misunderstood. It's just very painful, but that pain and suffering are essential to achieve true greatness.
And this, so what I'm looking at here in this visual is essentially you remove that blockage. I'm sure there's a whole process, and this is where I want to lead to, Justin, is like,
Yeah.
okay, the visionary is potentially listening or watching right now. Maybe you're
Uh-huh.
not, and that's cool too.
Uh-huh.
But maybe you're not aware totally of, oh, is this me? Or what are
Yep.
my blocks? Maybe I'm totally unaware of these blocks, but it's
Correct.
stopping the flow. So how do you approach these people in that kind of situation?
Uh, well, I don't really approach them anymore. Um, that's the point of like intense soul interaction within primary clusters. The ones
They're
that aren't,
attracted.
I don't know how to, there's nothing to say unless they do something about it.
So let's say they're here then, because they're still listening. So they're magnetized to what we're saying here. If they feel like they're not living to their true, they have that blockage,
Oh, here,
something.
good. All right,
Yeah,
here, I'll answer. Oh, sorry, another visual.
all
So,
good.
okay, yeah. So, all right, and I'll
Sounds
talk
good.
about it too. Okay. So, for those who cannot see this drawing, there's a foundation, and the only two questions I really care about asking anyone at this point are who do you love and what is your purpose?
Mm,
And what this drawing reflects and represents is a merger of those two things into one. So that can be family, company, anything. I'm very grateful that the companies I helped start, they're just a merger of loved ones and purpose. Like the people in our group, they're loved ones and they're all living their purpose. There's really no business owner stuff discussed. It's about unconditional love and their purpose. And then when it's truly built the right way and it truly merges, and this has happened within the last couple of weeks even, and I've seen it. um I called it an abundance apex. It's like this point where it's like purely merged, and then it creates a divine union, divine and love union in Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness is like really high. It's really high up there, like
mm,
almost at enlightenment. And then the drawing looks like a tower. So I've started working on the third book, which will be called Epic Journey.
mm.
4 chapters in, and then one of the chapters I've written is called Build Your Tower, and that's combining the loved ones and the purpose. So like your employees can be loved ones who are living their purpose. It doesn't matter. Like the people in your community, your family members. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Your students. I don't know. It doesn't. You don't have to be a visionary to be like that. But it's just making it one thing. And it goes back to that primary cluster. So when you have that primary cluster, it attracts more of the primary cluster, and it just exponentially grows with that abundance apex. And then there are no limits to it. It's an arrow pointing up, like if you can see the drawing.
yeah. And that
No
drawing, the
limit.
first thing I see is a rocket ship. So the fact that you
Mm,
got this triangle, which is a very strong, the strongest
the
shape.
strongest shape.
Yes, and the apex,
Yeah.
abundance apex, is that point
Right.
at whatever point they meet
Uh-huh.
and maybe initiate that liftoff of
Yeah.
divine. Yeah, the whole.
Did I show you my 9-year-old's drawing about this?
You've texted me some, but show it off here if you want. I love
So
the drawings. Yeah.
So our 9-year-old Chase, for those who know Earl Nightingale, he's Chase is a little version of that. Chase is a brilliant. He's brilliant, and I know all parents love their children. I understand that. Chase is a different animal,
Awesome.
literally. So he drew this. This was after Abundance 360. We were talking about geometry unlocking consciousness. So he drew this. Um, All right, let me voice it out. So the main problem I see in the world, I mean, I don't think there's any question about this, but the main problem is there are too many sons, S-U-N-S, too many men with egos, shining how bright they are, shining how bright they are. And then this drawing has the sun's, S-U-N's great grandfather spirit, if you employ Native American or other things like that. But these SUNs don't have a Mother Earth, which Chase said are the source of life and reflection. So they're just the suns are just melting everything with their own ego, and they don't have any Earth to, balance them. And then the third circle to create the triangle connection is a moon, a neutral moon that can do anything. So just to land the plane for a second, which I don't like to do, but I'll do. So like within company, within Brepic network, I'm definitely the sun. If I got involved with too much backstage logistical stuff, I'd melt everything. I would destroy it. I know that.
Sure.
So my wife, who's a pediatrician, she's Harmony 1 in Strength Finders. She's an adult pediatrician now because most of our members are little children. So she's an adult pediatrician. And she's pure Mother Earth. And then partner, Mark Fujiwara, his Strength Finders are Competition 1, Maximizer 2, Empathy 3. Competition, Maximizer, Empathy. So he's an empath who does 8 and 9 figure deals all day. So he can do anything.
Wow.
And so it creates a triangle partnership. I think I know triangle partnerships with at least one woman for balance. That's essential moving forward. And then that it reduces the sun melting everything, the ego melting everything. And then as Chase drew, the triangle is the strongest shape. So he wrote geometry unlocks consciousness is the start, and this is what it creates. So
dang, man. This is one of those diagrams to just stare at for a while with
I stare at it every day. Every day.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to pause the episode really fast and shout out another show that's on the podcast network over at HubSpot. It's the audio destination for business professionals. This is Mistakes That Made Me. It's hosted by Iman Ismail. She is interviewing successful business owners and talking about, hey, what are those mistakes? What are the failures? What are the things that you hate to talk about that we can all learn from? I mean, let's be honest. Do you like to talk about your mistakes? Probably not. Well, that's what she's talking about. And it's going to be there. It is there waiting for you to listen so you can learn from those lessons and learn how to get past them or navigate around those big boulders on your own journey to success. So go listen to Mistakes That Made Me wherever you get your podcasts. Are you looking to earn more online? It's time to meet Kartra. It's your ultimate all-in-one business platform that makes it even easier to boost your income online. So with Kartra, creators, coaches, and experts can turn their knowledge and services into profits. You can create pages, funnels, and attract customers, build membership sites, and share your knowledge, automate your business so you can free up your time and do a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So Kartra has every tool you need to grow your business in one place. And the best part is that it's super affordable and easy to use. So now's the time to streamline and scale your biz. Head over to hustleandflowchart.com/Kartra and snag a free 30-day trial. Again, that's hustleandflowchart.com/KARTRA. This reminds me, Justin, of the chat you and I had originally when we connected about stabilizers, like visionaries having stabilizers. And, this is reflective in relationships, personal relationships with partners, loved ones, business relationships, in companies or in anywhere, just relationships.
Anything. It's the same thing. That's what
same damn thing.
And loved one, it combines.
So tell me about stabilizers and the importance, maybe how to identify them. We can talk about the Kolbe as well. I'm sure that's a foundational item here.
Yes, absolutely. Sure. Well, let's focus on Kolbe because I like to simplify. And I feel like I've given too broad of answers, so I'll just simplify this one. But so the only thing I write down before I meet someone is their name and Kolbe score. I don't care what they do or where they live. It's pointless to me. Most visionaries, certainly not all, I'm an exception, but most visionaries in Kolbe, Kolbe, Kolbe.com, A index, it takes 20 minutes. measures how your brain takes action. Most visionaries they're like you. They're very high quick start with little to no follow through. So they're idea. Oh, a squirrel. Look, hey, there's a squirrel over there. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot what I was saying. Ooh, oh, wow. Look at that. Ooh, okay. Oh, 30 ideas later. Okay. So, and then most stabilizers, including my wife, and then most integrators are lower quick start, higher follow through. So they're waiting for a visionary to, provide an idea, or 30 of them, and then maybe one is really good and then they follow through. Um, just for context, I'm the very, 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 very rare visionary that has high quick start, high follow through, and high fact finder. So if you combined a researcher, integrator, and visionary in one person, that would be me. Um, um, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So within company, I am visionary. However, with talking to other visionaries like you, I'm a simplifier, a soul simplifier who can connect them to other souls. So and then research it endlessly to
Mm-hmm.
provide the best patterns, whether they're drawn out or vocalized or written in a book.
That's perfect. Yeah, it describes it. So, do you know stats from Colby, like the shakeout of like where people are landing? Like, I don't know if they even give this kind
Oh,
of these
okay,
metrics.
great question. Good. Yeah, that's a good five fact finder question by you. Good job. So I'm an eight fact finder, by the way.
Yeah. It
Okay.
says I'm five. I mean, I guess that's I've changed. I've taken the
Yeah.
Colby. I'm just telling everyone twice now. The
Hmm.
first time was what 4 years ago.
Hmm.
Different business, relationship. People here most know Matt Wolf, so I was in a partnership there.
Hmm.
That's changed. Maybe that was part of it, part of life. Who knows? But
Right.
it shifted slightly, but still pretty much core the same.
Thank you for sharing that.
Hmm.
So I only talk to visionaries, but I mean 99% of the time. So I will answer it in that way.
Hmm.
Just to give you a very two examples which I think are interesting. Hopefully everyone does as well. But
Yeah.
okay, so the average score of someone I talk to is a 3.393. So that's a 9 quick start, 10 is the highest, a 3 follow through, 1 is the lowest. That's pure ADD, whether it's diagnosed or undiagnosed. In human world, that's a very rare score. In my world, that's an average score. Okay, so that's one.
Okay.
Two, a 10 quick start, a 10 is 1 out of 200 humans. In
Wow.
my world, it's like 1 out of 8, 1 out of 9.
Got it.
Um, and then within Brepic Network, as of this recording, we have 60 members. 4 are under a 7 quick start. I didn't think we'd have any, but I'm actually glad we have a few because they provide and they are visionaries. They are. So they provide some really good balance and excellent follow through.
Hmm.
Excellent follow through for the other visionaries.
So how would you label, like, is there a specific way you define a visionary based off of a Colby score, maybe a multitude of things? Where's that line where someone can almost diagnose themselves?
Well, my wife, who's a doctor, has told me to stop diagnosing
Ah,
people,
that's fair.
but I don't follow rules or believe in them. So the
We're not
stop
doctors,
sign,
by the way, y'all.
my wife is
She is.
literally, but yeah,
Yeah,
but
she is.
yeah. So to me, the stop sign with the white outlines are optional. So that's a joke.
Yep,
But
yep.
that's funny but true. But so there are only 4 types of visionaries, only 4 that I see. And again, this is neurodivergent. So one is ADD, ADHD, diagnosed or undiagnosed. That's 90% of the people I talk to.
Hmm.
2 is autism, Asperger's, whatever it's called now. I've
Hmm.
my wife has unofficially diagnosed me with that. I definitely have that. There's no doubt.
Hmm.
And she said I'm becoming more neurodivergent as the soul evolves.
Hmm.
3 is dyslexia. 30% of visionaries, including Sir Richard Branson, are dyslexic. And then 4 is astronomically high IQ and or EQ. Everyone I talk to has high IQ. I think the lowest IQ of anyone I've talked to in the last 3 years is 127. Genius is 140. The highest IQ I've talked to is 197. He has zero EQ. Literally, he sent me the results. He has zero,
Wow.
which was really fascinating. And
Zero
then
IQ. I can't even wrap my head around that. That's
Zero EQ.
Oh,
Zero.
EQ.
Yeah,
Got it.
zero. That zero IQ would be even wow. That would be amazing.
Oh my God.
Zero. My wife thinks I have zero IQ a lot of the time. So it's and my kids. I refuse to retake IQ.
Yeah,
Because I don't. I know what happens when it's too high. So I don't want to know.
sure. Yeah.
It's a very tough life.
Mm.
And but no, like I don't know how to say this any other way, but like a regular human cannot be a visionary because they don't have the neurodivergence. Um, they're just not built like that or wired like that.
Right. Yeah, and it makes sense that entrepreneurs, a lot of them, it seems like, are the visionary type, or at least the ones that want to
Right.
go out there and push the boundaries. I mean, like you said,
Right.
stop signs are optional. So they're creating
Yes.
their own rules. That's really what it comes
Correct.
down to.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Not and creating rules for others, while others, many of them are complaining about the new thing that's being created while it's actually helping them, but they don't know it and they're protesting it on the way.
Yeah.
So you look at any great innovation, anything, it was created by a visionary. And
Mm,
then there was trouble. My favorite story with this is my favorite, this is my favorite one. So the guy invented kindergarten, kindergarten, the fun grade,
sure.
the
Yeah.
fun grade, right? Kindergarten, yeah. And then by the way, like for whatever it's worth, the company I helped create, it's basically adult kindergarten. That's what it
Cool.
is. You have to read, but uh, so kindergarten, the fun grade, you just kind of play
Uh-huh.
around and do stuff. So it was invented by, I can't remember his name. I think it was Goebel or something in whatever Germany used to be called in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And so it was doing well. And then a year before he died, the Prussian or German government banned kindergarten because it was a conservative government. So they banned kindergarten. You banned kindergarten seems like a good idea. And
Yeah.
then like multiple generations later, this man's great granddaughter runs one of the schools he started. So like that's what a
Wow.
visionary thinks. They're thinking several generations into the future,
Yeah.
and then it's going to be banned possibly while they're still alive, but it doesn't really matter because they know eventually it'll be great.
Someone will pick it up and do it again. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you said adult kindergarten is the group you put together, and I love that because I have two little ones, a 4-month-old, 4-year old, and you have two as well, a little
Mhm.
older,
Yeah.
and I constantly, and I've had episodes I've recorded recently, and one I actually dropped your name and said we were about to have this chat. The topic was about play and the fact that a lot of
Yeah.
us as we get older, play falls away, and there's I feel like it's pretty accurate that in the early stages of our lives we got to figure out how to play, how to connect with others, and I guess you don't have to do anything, but at least that's a great training ground, like kindergarten, for instance, to
Yeah.
connect with others and test the boundaries and figure out
Mhm.
who the hell are you. So
Right.
yeah, talk about the power of play and the fact when we get older, we get a little more barriers around that play.
Okay, two things from that. Great question. So the Norwegian Winter Olympics, Norwegian Winter Olympic sports, they're among the best in the world, and there's a fundamental reason why it's called the Norwegian way. So when the
Hmm.
Norwegians are younger, they don't put any rules on them. They just let them play outside. There's no pressure. There's no like travel leagues and all that
Mhm.
stuff or people yelling at them. They just let them play. And then, mid-teenager age, if they're good enough, then they put them into, you know, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So they're just allowed to, again, humans have created all these constructs of work and stuff, and other animals, they don't, they
Hmm.
eat and they play a lot. And you see other animals when they're younger, they just play around. So that's one. Um, and then a great visionary, if something isn't being done correctly or to their standards or their liking, they'll just break every rule they can to create their own world. So if the world doesn't work for them, they'll just create their own world. The formula for creating a successful global company, I guess I used to say company, but we'll just say successful life at this point or successful journey. So we'll just say successful journey.
Yeah.
So it's you see a problem, create solution, problem solve, successful journey. See a problem, create solution, problem solve, successful
Yeah.
journey. So here's the problem. Okay, we'll do something about it.
Yeah.
Solved it, and then you'll run into another problem, and then you'll
Yeah.
figure out a solution to that. There's no there's no end to that, but that's fascinating because what I've seen anyway is that the problems used to take much longer to be solved because there weren't enough of the primary clusters of souls, and now it's not like that. Now
Yeah.
they're just solving it for me, I guess. I don't have to really do anything other than be like this, which is
Well,
fun.
yeah, you're backed up with your wife and your partner in the company, and to attract more of these souls, the visionary souls that you're bringing together in adult kindergarten. And and with that collective, I mean, I don't know if there's another time where you can, I mean, I see how you connect with people on LinkedIn for one, and how you make introductions. You're rapid, you're quick. There's no,
Activator.
yeah, there's no over explanation of here's
You don't need
why.
to.
There's
Doesn't
none.
matter.
It's just
It
straight
doesn't
up.
matter.
Yeah, yeah. I love your style in that, and some people might
Okay.
just be like, "Whoa, how's it?" But then,
Not in my world.
F it,
No,
yeah.
that's the point. They don't, they, if they are like that, then they're not ready for that type of, and maybe they
Mhm.
will be, but that's fine. Um,
Yep, yep,
so, and it's okay. Again, there's nothing right or wrong with any of this. It's just,
yeah.
most people, they don't, and I don't know why, it's confusing me, but they don't seek their pure destiny or
Hmm.
there's pure purpose. And if I have an intuition to do something, I will do it. Like without the um, it was really interesting. I just had this intuition. I'm like, I have to go to London. So I'm like, oh, I have to go to London. I have to go to London. And then later that day, one of my friends invited me to go to London. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like going to London. And then my father, again, he was 61 when I was born. He died when I was 13. He kept a diary him fighting in the Battle of the Hurtgen Forest toward the end of World War II. That was a very deadly battle. For those who have
Hmm.
read Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor
Yep,
Frankl, my dad's diary isn't that horrific, but it's close. Like it's that bad.
got it.
It's called, and then I was reading his diary the other day because some of it's an epic journey, and I flipped open a page, and he had a map that he had written with London X'd on it, and
And
very
you made the
emotional.
trek. Yeah, you made it. That's cool.
Yeah, and
That's
he never was even in London. He was never in London.
wow. Yeah,
Never. So I'm like, okay, well, go to London.
intuition. You did it, man. Right. Well, I'm curious because you mentioned what, 46 years, if I'm not mistaken, that whole intuition thing wasn't your driver. And maybe we wrap things up on this note is like,
Hmm.
it seems like you had a shift. I'm curious of what that shift was, and then kind of leave people with like, all right, here's some clues on how to potentially shift for yourself, and then maybe give some actionable tools for next steps.
Man, you're a very good listener. Very good listener. So I'm 4 chapters into the manuscript of the new book as of this recording, and chapter 1 answers that question. So this is
Perfect.
interesting. All of these answers up to your questions have been written or drawn. That's actually really fascinating. Okay, but it's logical at this point. It's not coincidence. It's just okay.
Of course. Yeah.
Can I give you like a ton of context on this? Because I think it's very powerful. Is
Have
that
at
okay?
it, man. Of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
So chapter 1 is about my dad in his diary entry where he stops his soldier friends from raping young German women. Okay.
Hmm.
So he stopped. Okay. So that is how I look at the world's problems. Like you need to take action to stop this. So just standing there and not doing anything, that's not going to stop anything. So you have to do something. So, okay. So I met an actual living version of my dad about a year ago. His name's Thomas Cernak. No, this answers your question, I promise, but
I
I'll give
believe
you
it.
some
Yeah.
background. Okay. So I met Thomas and some background on him. I think he's 96 now, and he's the last of his 9 siblings to be alive. He's still a practicing murder defense attorney in Illinois. So he's been doing that for 70 plus years.
Wow.
His wife of 64 years died. This, by the way, this is what happens when you just listen to people and you just ask them questions and they tell you this stuff. But um, all of his siblings are gone. All of his friends are gone. Um, And then when he was in World War II, he and I first started talking because I saw him wearing a World War II veteran hat. And when I see that, I stop everything that I'm doing. I start
Sure.
talking. But okay. So he was the guy in the Navy that went to the islands and beaches and cleared the airstrips and the beaches before everyone else came in. So that's literally the most dangerous thing you could. I mean, that's like, so he should have
First
been
online.
killed. Yeah,
Yeah.
first. Yeah. So he should have been killed. So listen to him. I went to his office after originally meeting him. And so I said, okay, thank you for telling me this for 2 hours. Give me the key to life, just because I just want the answer to simplify it for everyone. So, okay, so he said three things. Three. Okay. One, serendipitous meetings of the right people at the right times. Serendipitous meetings of the right people at the right times. Two, be early, be brave, and be honest. Be early, be brave, and be honest. Three, always stay in the battle. Always stay in the battle. Okay, so to answer your question, I looked up the word serendipitous.
Yeah.
Serendipitous, which comes from the noun serendipity, which means, quote, one who finds valuable or agreeable things not sought for. One who finds valuable or agreeable things not sought for. So by being endlessly curious and always seeking knowledge, you actually find the things that you weren't seeking, which are actually your pure destiny. I was never seeking any of this, at least consciously, but unconsciously, I never stopped. And then that unconsciousness became conscious. And that's what it is.
Yeah, and that's the apex, right? Like that's that point that you met right at the top of the triangle blast off
Correct.
moment.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Got it. Understood. Wow. Serendipitous meetings with the right people at the right time. Be early, be brave, be honest, and stay in the battle. That's
You have an exceptional memory.
well, a little bit of notes aid, but that's I am locking it in. And I wish I could always be word for word like that, but that's okay. I have tools to assist with me.
Right.
But you're right though. I can relate to a lot of this is asking questions. It's for me it's not really knowing what the outcome will be, but there's a general direction, I'm curious about, but serendipitous like there's a reason why you feel attracted or this urge sometime to talk with someone. It could be that hat, World War II hat or whatever vibe, that intuition if
Vibe
we're
is the
feeling
multiplier. Vibe is the
mm,
multiplier. So hold on.
yeah, hit me.
So this is I mean, again, there's no coincidence here. This is logical. We're saying the same things in different way. So there's another drawing so life's musical.
Look
This is
at this.
curiosity. For those who can't see, it's musical note, curiosity with knowledge, and then it's connecting those notes. And then at the bottom it says sound of music is the vibe multiplier. So you said vibe, that's what it is. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a vibe multiplier. That's all it is.
Mm.
It's a little abstract, but
It's energy,
eventually
man, right? It's
just
buzzing around, it's pinging around, and it's real. I mean, it's science. It's not woo woo. Look it up.
so the heart beats. Oh man, I just looked this up the other day. It in a day it's like 180,000 It's something like that. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up because
Sure.
I don't want to get this wrong. Okay, so your heart pumps about 1.5 gallons of blood every minute. That's 2,000 gallons of a day. 2,000
Wow.
gallons. That like can fill a pool, a pool, and then the blood goes through your body in like entire body in like 3 minutes, or it's something like that.
Mhm.
And it beats 100,000 times a day, your heart, 35 million times in a year. So, and then the heart has all these little brains within it, these little energy fields. And then the brain, it has 400 miles of capillaries in the brain. So it's one, that's the eight fact finder kicking in, by the way. So
Nice.
you got, yeah, you have this giant energy system, and most people don't use it at all. And they don't detect that energy because they're blocking their own intuition, IQ, EQ. They're blocking their own energy inner voice, which is what we talked about earlier.
Yep. Wow.
Right.
And I know there's a whole thing with energy that gets radiated from your heart. I believe that's more the heart math. There's a whole
Mm.
rabbit hole there as well. That maybe you can go down and integrate that into what you just said there. But
I'll have to get my email out for that because one of my good friends, Hugh Massey, he sent me this heart vibrational.
hmm.
Let's see if I can. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Here, so here's the heart's. Oh, you people can't see this. The heart's electromagnetic field.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So there it is. Yeah. So for people who can't, you want to explain that, what that
Uh,
looks like to people?
It, it looks like an oval, I guess, around your body that radiates from your heart center. And it's not including what I'd be interested if this was layered in with the brain, because obviously that has its own. But what I've heard is that it just doesn't go out as far. So
The
to
brain
me,
does not. The brain does not.
that's what I understood. I
That would
could be
make
wrong.
sense.
Yeah. And again, this is electromagnetic field. So energy from your heart, from internal, exactly what we're talking about, the EQ side of us.
Yes.
And what I've heard is that, there's this field around us that is expansive, and the closer we are with those people physically, and I'm sure that translates somehow digitally.
It translates 100%. I mean,
Does it?
we've never met in person.
No.
We just literally connected the same things, the same dots in different ways without ever meeting.
That's it, man. Yeah. So there's something there, and that's a visual, I guess, for physical, but just apply that anywhere. That's how I see this podcast as well, Justin, is
absolutely.
I curate who I bring on, the topics I talk about, and I know the listeners, there is a vibration, a network effect that happens.
100%.
Yeah. That's the change, and that's why this thing is still going, and it will continue until, I guess, I can't do that, but
this is part of your tower. It's part of your tower, Dave. It's logical. It's a frequency. It's a communicator. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Justin, I mean, I appreciate you, man, because I think I'll just be honest, the way through speaking through on the podcast, sometimes I feel the words aren't perfect, but like what we get it, the right people get it. And it's almost like it, just being completely honest, which I know is what you're all about. Drop that shit, drop it. And that's what I get the sense of. And I think I put this out to others, is like, just do it. Just be you. The right people will attract. The message will land to the right folks, and then just continue. Just continue. Stay in the battle.
Always stay in the battle. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So give me some tools, some next steps for folks who are intrigued. You mentioned Colby as one. Obviously, your books, you can mention those as well. Mention everything, man. Any other assessments potentially?
Well, Colby's definitely number one. I'm not evolved enough yet. But again, rest of life goal is to really understand level of consciousness at the highest level and connect people that way. I'll be fascinated to do that the rest of my life for sure. So Dr. David Hawkins, he spent his whole life working on that. For those who are interested in past or future lives, and there's no right or wrong answer to that. There's a great book called Many Lives, Many Masters. That's really good. Journey of Souls, that one's really good. I'm in the process, knock on wood, I'll just put it out there for the world. I'm in the process of asking Deepak Chopra to write the foreword for Epic Journey. I hope that'd be nice if he did it.
Yeah, man.
So he wrote the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
For those interested in adult kindergarten, it's brepicnetwork.org is the website. So.
Beautiful. And I know you have some books as well, Epic Life being one of them. I actually see it right behind you there.
Oh, there it is.
So, yeah, it's fine. It's somewhere back there. Yeah. So, yeah, check out Justin. Well, of course, we're going to link everything in the show notes, YouTube description, wherever this is. So, yeah, man, I'm sure more will come from this. And there's no doubt that the right people are still listening. So thank you, Justin. I appreciate you being open, honest, and and champion all of y'all visionaries. Let's do good together. And that's the big thing I'm getting from this is do it together. Don't be siloed. I think that's a big thing, a no for a lot of visionaries as well. Don't do it alone. Do it together. And that's where everybody rises up. So, all right, my man. Have a great one. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.